Hey guys, okay, it's me and I am filming from home this week. So I was trying to think, okay, what can I do differently to kind of help you guys at home with PE? And I thought, what better way for me to show you what to do at home than for me to do it at home as well, to give you some ideas on how you can set up your space, to play your games and stuff like that. So for the last few weeks, we have been talking about overhand throwing, and some of us have been doing underhand throwing. So today we're going to kind of wrap up that overhand and underhand throwing unit, and we're going to play a game at the end. But before we do that, we're going to review some of the skills and stuff like that we've learned in the last few weeks. So I figured, what better place than for me to do that in my son's room, because you guys are probably in your room. So there are going to be a few things that you need for class today. Like I said earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and reiterate. You need a sock ball. That's going to be like probably one of the number one things we're going to use this year, because I've found a lot of cool games to use with them. So I grabbed a few because I want to be able to do a bunch of tosses. So I figured I might as well grab, a few instead of using the same one over and over. Now you are going to do a challenge at the end of class. So for the challenge, you'll just only use one. But for practice, if you want to grab a few, that's fine. Another option is to use some soft balls. Like I have like really squishy balls that you can use. If it doesn't bounce and if they're not really hard, then you might get away with it. But if they're really squishy, those are probably the best ones. Like this is just like one of those like super squishy balls. So if that works out for you, the sock ones are probably going to be like the most safe. So that's probably number one choice. And then the other option is I found in his room a bunch of stuffed animals, but they're like really small stuffed animals. So I've got a creeper and I got some little turtle. And so these little stuffed animals would work really well for this game as well. And while you're practicing, you can use the socks, you can use the stuffed animals and the balls if you have a lot of different things. Because the different items that you use are really good practice too, because you're not always going to have the same thing that has the same weight. Some things are going to be a little heavier than others. So if you have different items, that will work really, really well for the game too. Another thing that we need for the game is you're going to need something to toss into. So I've got a bucket. I've got also a big laundry basket that I have as well. And I have a few other items that I'm going to show you. So different types of buckets. If you only have one, that's fine. If you have more, then you can use all of them if you want. Last week you guys needed to make a target, so I made a target here at home. I also tried to print one out and had to finish it with marker. So I also have one on LMS that if you want to print that one out as well. So the things that you're going to need are your target. You need something to throw. Okay, so sock balls, stuffies, okay? And then you need a box or bin or basket for the other game, okay? So I'm gonna give you about 2 minutes to get all of those items, all right? So again, ready, set, go. Okay guys, so right now you've got a 2-minute timer that is up on the screen. You should be getting your items now. If you haven't already gotten them, you can use this time to get your water bottle. If you need to get a water break really quick, get your sock ball, your target up on the wall, get your basket, your bins, anything that you're going to need for today's class. You should be going to get that now. All right, you guys still have about a minute left. Again, a minute left to get all your items. So you should be getting your sock ball. You should be getting any other items that you're going to throw, your box, your bin, your target. Okay, this is the time that you should be getting that. If you already have all that stuff, make sure that you have your water bottle and to everything ready to go. So that way, when these 30 seconds are done, you are ready to practice your overhand throwing. All right, guys, you have about 10 seconds. Everybody should be returning back to the screen. You should be ready, and the timer will be going off in 3, 2, 1. So I decided to tape my target at the end of the room. So I've got it here at the end. And since I had 2 targets, I decided to go ahead and put both targets on the floor, one high and one low. On the floor, I marked my first throwing spot with the shoes, my second throwing spot with the dinosaurs, and my third throwing spot with the little baskets here. So that's just to mark the floor. You can use your sock balls to do that, or if you have other things that you want to use. All right, so that is going to be the first thing, setting up your space. All right, so you have 1 minute to set up your space. Your target should be up on the wall. You can put it up on a chair or on the back of the couch, wherever you are going to be throwing it. And go ahead and mark your spaces where you're going to be throwing from. A spot that's close, a spot that's a little further back, and then one further back than that. All right, guys, you have about 15 seconds to finish setting up your space. If you already have your space set up, if you could return back to the screen so that way you are ready for the next practice session. So now that you have your space set up with your target on the wall or on your chair or on your sofa or wherever you want it, and then your spots on the floor marked for where you're going to throw it from, let me review with you really quickly your overhand throwing. Now remember, you're going to be throwing with your dominant hand. Your dominant hand is the hand that you write with, the hand that you eat with, you brush your teeth with. You do most of your things with your dominant hand. So my right hand is my dominant hand, okay? This is my right. So my right hand, I'm going to put it in an L shape. All right, and it's going to be behind me. I'm going to be throwing in the opposite direction. So my L-shaped arm, my right hand is my L-shaped arm, and I'm going to point towards where my target is. So my target is over there on the wall, so I'm going to point. Now when I throw, my arm is going to go next to my head, and it's going to throw straight towards my pointed arm, okay? See my volunteer back there running around. All right, he's going to help me today. So hello, say hi, Avery.
Hi.
Hello. My little helper today. So you're gonna L-shape your back arm, but you have to make sure that your front arm is pointing forward. When you step, you're gonna throw past your head and towards your pointing arm. So it's going to go straight forward. All right, so your feet are together. Your arm is in an L shape. You're pointing towards your target. You step, you throw, and your hand goes right by your pointing hand. Ready? So I'm going to step and throw, okay? So wherever your pointing hand is where you're gonna release your item. So if I was pointing down and then my target is lower, well then I'm going to release down towards the ground. If my target is up and it's up there in the bleachers somewhere and you need to throw it up high, okay, you're gonna point up and you're going to release high when your arm is high up in the sky, okay? So wherever your pointing hand is, that's where you wanna release your item. So go ahead and set yourself up. Practice hitting your target. I'm going to give you a few minutes to practice that. You're going to practice hitting your target, and I'll be here doing it as well, so we'll do it together. All right? Go ahead and get started. Don't forget to point with your non-throwing hand and step with your opposite foot. Okay, and release your hand, your throwing hand, towards your pointing hand. Okay, I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to continue practicing your overhand throw. Remember to keep your hand pointed towards your target, and your throwing hand, make sure it follows through all the way to your pointing hand, okay? So go ahead and take these last 1 minute and 40 seconds to practice your overhand throwing. All right, guys, you have about 30 seconds left, to return back to the screen so that way you can see what we are going to do next. All right, about 20 more seconds. All right, guys, you have 5 seconds. Please return back to the screen in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so on the target's on that side. So on the opposite side of the target, so on the other side of the room, you're gonna put your bins on the floor. So you've got your bins on one side and your target on the other side, okay? So that's where I want you to put your bins. Wherever your target is, put your bins on the other side. Let me review how to underhand throw. Just like when we overhand throw, we underhand throw using our dominant hand. My hand is my right hand, so it's my dominant hand. So I'm going to use my right hand to underhand throw. I'm also going to step with my opposite foot. So right hand throw, left foot step, okay? Just like I teach all of my young students, we swing our arm, and then when we step forward, we step and then swing our arm to toss, okay? So we step, swing, step and swing, okay? So we want to step and swing. And the same thing when we let go of our item, when we're throwing our ball, our beanbag, whatever it is that you're tossing, you want to make sure that wherever you release your item is in the right spot. If I release the item when my hand is all the way up, then it's just going to go flying up. If I release my item when it's down, it's just going to go straight down. So if I release right where my chest level is, it's going to fly straight and it's going to go forward in front of you. And that's the angle that we want to reach when we're doing our underhand throwing, okay? So now that we've reviewed that, we're going to go ahead and set up for the underhand throwing game. All right, so I have the other side of the room set up now. So the other side of the room has the two bins. I put both of my bins out there, basket or whatever, because I wanted to have just different options to toss into. I also have my first spot, my second spot, my third spot marked on the ground with other items that I had around. And then I have my bucket filled with all of my things that I'm going to throw. The sock balls and the stuffies and everything. So we are going to do our underhand throwing on this side of the room. So go ahead and do that. So go ahead and take this time to practice your underhand throwing, remembering your form, stepping with your opposite foot, and swinging your arm all the way through. And Avery and I will join in and practice along with you. I'm going to put a 2-minute timer for you guys to continue practice your underhand throwing. Remember to step with your opposite foot and follow through with your throwing arm. You have about 1 minute and 40 seconds left. All right, guys, you have 1 minute left. 1 minute left of your underhand throwing practice. 1 more minute. You have 10 seconds left. Go ahead and wrap up your last throw and return back to the screen so that way you guys can see what you will be doing next for your challenge. Okay, so now you have had a chance to practice your overhand throwing and your underhand throwing. So now you guys are going to do the over and underhand throw challenge. Coach Gelardi is going to show you how to play the game, and then you guys are going to get a chance to do it next, okay? So go ahead and sit down and keep your eyes on the screen so that way you can see how to play this next challenge, so that way you guys can see how many times you can hit your target for your 1 minute challenge, all right? Here it goes.
Hi, welcome to the Phys Ed Home. We are going to do an activity called Over plus Underhand Throw Challenge. This is going to work on your overhand throwing as well as your underhand throwing technique with a little bit of fitness. Now, the equipment you need a basket, and if you don't have a basket, you can use a cardboard box. And then 10 to 12 feet, I have a chair, and on top of the chair, I made a target using a paper plate with red crayon, and then I just taped it on. If you don't have a paper plate, you can just use a shirt that has some kind of design on it. Put the shirt over and aim for the design, okay? And then in the middle, I rolled up 2 towels that I have about 3 feet away, which I'm going to leap over. If I want to make it further or closer to have an added challenge, it's up to you. Now here's how you play. You start behind the basket and you have to do an overhand throw. Remember to step with the opposite foot, bring the sock ball, which I rolled up, behind your ear. So you throw from behind, aim, I hit it, I get a point. I then leap over, that's stepping with one foot and then landing with the other. I leap over, retrieve my sock ball. I go next to the chair. I make sure that my foot is at least behind the leg of the chair. And now I have to do an underhand throw. I step with the opposite foot. I hold on to the sock ball. Remember, bring it back and forward. It goes in. Yes. So now I have 2 points. I step over, leap over, I retrieve, and then I continue. Okay? And I just keep going back and forth, keeping track of my points. Let's see how Coach Gelardi does.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
Oh. Oh. 1. 2. All right, 7. 7 points. All right, 7 points. See how you do, okay? Try to get your personal best score. Remember to use your proper overhand and underhand throwing technique and really have fun with this, okay? Thank you for visiting the zone, the Phys Ed Home.
All right, so now that you saw Coach Gelardi do the challenge, now it is your turn. So I'm gonna give you a few seconds to set your space up. Now he has towels on the floor, but we already have stuffies or we've got things that we were marking the floor with our passes. So you can use that to jump over, okay, to leap over. So whatever you have, you don't need to go get a towel, but whatever you have on hand that you use for our practice throwing, you can use that. So go ahead and set up your space, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the timer set up so that way we can have our countdown to get ready to start. So go ahead and set up your space, and we're gonna get started in a few seconds. All right, go ahead and set up your space for the challenge, your target on one side, your bin on the other side, and mark your floor that you are going to leap across and what you're going to put on the floor. You have about 15 seconds. When this timer is up, the minute timer challenge will begin. So go ahead and get into your starting positions.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
Let's go. You got 30 seconds left. 30 seconds. Fifteen seconds. 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.